Hi, welcome to IST 611. This is week 2. This week we're going to focus on Web 2.0 standards and inquiry. The first resource that's there is Chapter 1 in my book, Choosing Web 2.0 Tools for Teaching and Learning in a Digital World. This chapter is very important. It really sets the context and kind of the background for our discussion that we're going to have all semester long. As you well know, we don't use technology for technology's sake. It really needs to be within the context of teaching and learning. And this chapter really sets the parameters for that. What is Web 2.0? What is inquiry? And why is it important? Why do we need to align this with standards? And so please give Chapter 1 a close reading. And if you have questions, please write them down because we're going to be meeting in Adobe Connect on Wednesday night, and you can ask those questions because this chapter is important. Quite a few people in the class don't have an education background. Many of you do. And so I expect you to be able to ask lots of curriculum questions because we really need to place this in a framework of teaching and learning. So don't hesitate. If you don't have an education background, believe me, there are no stupid questions. We all learn this at one time or another, and this is your time to learn it. So please bring up the questions. And those of us who have an education background, meaning all of my other students, you can jump in. And it's your turn to be able to help other students. So we have Chapter 1 from my book, and then there's also a short article that was in School Library Journal. That's very good, very practical, just gives you a practical sense of how school librarians are using Web 2.0 tools. The third resource is Living and Learning with New Media. This is coming out of the MacArthur Foundation, who is investing a considerable amount of money, a few $1 million, in looking at how these new Web 2.0 tools impact students' lives, both in school and out of school, how they play, how they learn, how they create. It's very, very interesting. It's worth it to go to the MacArthur Foundation website to look at some of the research studies that they've done. This one in particular kind of lays the foundation for the impact of these newer Web 2.0 technologies on students, how they're hanging out, geeking out, everything. So skim it. You don't have to give it a close read as I am asking you to do with Chapter 1. But I want you to skim it and get a sense of where some of this research is and how important these tools are and how they're changing how students learn and behave and think. And it's important to start looking at some of these. As I mentioned, we're going to have a session in Adobe Connect Pro. In WebCT, there is a little section, and it gives you a URL. I have set up a room in Adobe Connect, and that's the URL to get to the room. So you just have to type that in your browser, and it will automatically take you to the room. Also listed there is a website that you can test your computer. You need to test your computer equipment and make sure it's compatible. It also lists a few tutorials. I wish you would look at some of the tutorials if you've never been in Adobe Connect. At least you'll have an understanding of how the icons on the side work and how you'll see my picture, and I might be doing a PowerPoint or there's a chat. You can set up the room in all different ways. And so the purpose of our Adobe Connect session is twofold. One is I want you to get to know this program. It is free to students, faculty, and staff at Syracuse, which means that in the future, if you want to collaborate with someone else in the class, you can just go into Adobe Connect. The URL is there. You open up a room the same way I did, and you send the URL to your 1, 2, 3, 4 collaborators, whoever you want to join you in that room. And you can go out to the web and look at things. So if you're doing your wiki, you could both be looking at the same site. You could be sharing. You could be talking to each other. There's a whiteboard. You could be collaborating on the whiteboard. It's a very nice environment, so you might want to use that. The other reason is it's being used tremendously in education. It's being used for webinars, and so you need to be comfortable in that situation. And possibly as a school librarian, you might want to hold webinars, either with Adobe or maybe a free one called WebEx, which is very similar. So you need to be comfortable and see what this environment is all about. And the second reason is I wanted to meet you in a synchronous setting. We're mostly asynchronous, that you log in at any time, 24 hours a day, leave notes, do work. But I wanted at the beginning of the semester to be synchronous so that you can ask questions. All of you will have read the syllabus by now, and you might have various questions. They might be very small, so you don't want to post them, whatever. So this is an opportunity to really ask any and every question, so there isn't any misunderstanding, and I can explain. You might want to talk about the assignments. So this is your time. So thoroughly read the syllabus and look over the assignments, and this is an opportunity that we can talk about that. If you have not sent me your 3 choices, you need to do that by Monday at 5 o'clock. Time is up. I need your 3 choices. If I don't get them by Monday at 5 o'clock, then I will assign it to you. Because I need to do it on Monday evening and post them by Tuesday morning, because I want you to have a full 2 weeks to be able to do this assignment. So please, Monday, 5 o'clock, get me in your choices of which one of the Web 2.0 tools you would like, and if you want to be partnered with someone. If not, I will just try to align you with people who have asked, another person who has asked to do the same tool that you have. Your assignment by the end of week 2 is the wiki. It is task 1 of the wiki, so that's why it's very, very important for you to get your tools in and know which tool you're working on. Okay, I'm still looking through your voice threads and enjoying it very much. I will be leaving comments on them. You're doing a very good job at it, and it's a lot of fun to get to know you. I really look forward to working with you this semester. So please, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Email me. You have my email, pberger@syr.edu. You can also Skype me. I see that you're all jumping onto Skype. That's another thing. You need to get your Skype ID and your Twitter ID up on our wiki page. You go to our wiki, and on the side is a listing of student IDs. Click on that and just add your Skype ID and your Twitter ID. I will be starting this week also to send out a few tweets, so you start to get the idea of what Twitter is like. All you have to do is join and then follow me. And on Twitter, I am Pam B. So please do your tools, your Twitter, and your Skype. And at the end of the class, if you don't want to be members of any of these things, you can drop out of everything. But for the time being, I need you to join these because we need to talk about it. You need to experience it. You can love it, you can hate it, but you're going to figure out what is it and how does it support teaching and learning. So I look forward to working with you, and I will talk to you all on Wednesday night. Bye.